This is Tuna on Toast.
You want to come look in my refrigerator? You can have anything you want.
Well, one of the things I noticed was, is that a condom dispenser?
Yes.
In the bathroom?
Yes.
I took 4.
That's not for us, is it?
Well, I was hoping it was that kind of an interview. If you're gonna bring me Snickers, then I gotta. This is like, it satisfies you. It's nougat.
It is nougat.
Yeah.
That's you. All right, let me hit record on this thing. Hey everybody, and welcome to the show, Tuna on Toast. I am Ted Stryker, joined by the frontman of Angels Airwaves. He was also in Blink-182 and also Boxcar Racer. And if things go well today, we may get the codes to get into the Pentagon. Tom Delonge is at my freaking house.
I know, this is awesome. I feel like, well, you know, shit, I haven't seen you in a while, but every time I see you, I'm like, hey again.
Yeah.
It's me.
But it's like we don't really, I miss you and I think about you and I follow everything you're doing. And obviously, as you know, I love all the music that you create. And you walked in the house just a couple minutes ago, but we didn't miss a beat.
No, we just picked it right. And I was commenting, you got a Blink plaque up there, which is bitchin'.
Thanks,
it's the only
man.
plaque in here, which you could have many. So I'm very thankful that you have
That
ours in
Blink
there.
plaque has lived there for many, many, many years.
It's the previous owner of the house. It's not even yours. Yeah.
No, I've lived here for like 16 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So I took this bedroom where we would have a lot of guests stay, relatives, that sort of thing. And like nobody can come over again because I got to do this new thing. And Tom DeLong of many great folks are coming over here. Tom, you mentioned the Jordans back here.
Saying sell them, and then you can move to the Swiss Alps. That was my comment.
But there's one big problem.
What?
When I bought those, I was with my friend Chris Wilcox, and we had not a lot of money. We split them. So this was like the second.
Wait, you guys shared shoes?
Yes.
See, this is cute. This is like cute friendship. This is great. I've never heard of such a thing.
When we parted ways, not romantically, we're still friends, but he moved to the East Coast and I'm here on the West Coast, I ended up having both shoes that month because we would trade back and forth every month.
Yeah.
So he texted me the other day because he saw these in the background. He's like, half of those shoes are mine, don't forget.
That's really funny because you used to get like beat up for having shoes that expensive and gnarly. Like, you know, remember hearing those stories?
Yeah, man.
So you guys wanted to trade. It's like, who can get beat up? Well, I want to get beat up too. I want to get hijacked for my shoes. Those things are like, I mean, my son is so into like the dunks and all that stuff.
Oh, is that right?
Dude, they're so gnarly. Like,
Does he go on the sneakers app and
does
the
all
whole
that
thing?
shit. Yeah. So like the other day, like there's a dope limited edition that came out of very specific skate shops because they're doing dunks as like Nike SB skateboarding.
Yep.
And so we had to go and fill out this lottery thing raffle at our local skate shop, and he got him. He's all stoked. He's running them like he got a new Ferrari, you know? Like he's just like, check these
for
like zebra
him.
print, you know? It's just cool. I
That's
mean,
cool.
It's just cool.
And how old is he?
He's 15.
So he knows what the hell is going on in life,
You and I
he's
do
got
not know.
super taste.
Yeah.
Like,
He's already like over Supreme. He's just like, you know? I'm just like, oh, okay, they're not cool. Like all of a sudden, you know?
oh my
Yeah,
God.
he's funny.
LIFEFORMS is out as we sit here today. It's been out just a few days. Congratulations on this unbelievable collection of songs. And it was like 6 or 7 years between the albums, right?
It takes a long time to come up with any idea.
No, but Tom, you do a lot of tinkering, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it, when you got to the finish line, was it somebody that you work with that said, enough is enough, give us, because you released quite a few songs before the official release, but was it hard to get rid of them and say, okay, let's get them out there?
Well, God, it's like never really done because you can constantly, like, as soon as you've had enough time to think about a song, then you kind of get bored of it by the time you've thought about it a lot. And then you're like, chorus could be better. Let's try something else, you know? And so in that kind of reasoning, you're like never really done. But for me, I'm just so busy. And I started this record about the time that I was getting To the Stars. My company was in full swing and all these people from the government were joining it. And we had all these things we were doing. And I was like, shit, if I really want to make this record, I have to like start now. And I only get a day or two a week for a few hours at a time. And so that's why it really took like 3 hours. But I think if you really condensed it into like if it was my only job and I was really in the studio every day, it's probably like a year or something, which would be on par of like some of the stuff that Blink did or whatever other Angels. Most Angels records have taken me a year or so, but a lot of that was like trying to discover like who I was and how to do it and whatever. Mm-hmm. But this one, yeah. So off and on, and then then we were just about done. And then I don't know if you heard, but there's like a virus that got out somehow.
I did hear about that.
And a lot of
yes.
people got sick.
Yes, I do know about that.
Okay, so a lot of people
for
don't
sure.
know this, but in any case, that happened. So we were like, we released a song or two, and then
Rebel Girl, was that before
Yeah.
the pandemic started?
Yeah.
I love Rebel Girl,
It's
just
a
so
good
you
song.
know. Great
Yeah,
song.
Thank you.
Great.
And so we were like, we put this, basically I went through a divorce and it was like tragic, and I had to rediscover who I was.
yeah.
And gotta get back to my roots, skateboarding and punk rock. And so I went on tour, and it was epic. It was like really awesome. And so we were gonna release the record, release the song, and then the pandemic hit. And then I was like, okay, so now we have another year and a half of like what to do what. Changed all our plans, went back in the studio, so let's just keep working on this. And then
When you say working on this, is it the songs that were already created based on your life experiences through the previous months or year?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I thought I would have released the record with Rebel Girl and stuff, but because nothing was happening for the foreseeable future, we were like, well, let's just make the record better. How do we make it better? So revisiting each song and redoing things and changing things, and maybe scrapped one of them and put a different one in there, and just go, this could be something really special, you know? And by the time it got finished, you know, because that was cool because I was working on it, right? Then went on tour, came back, oh my God, this band's bigger than I even knew. I was like putting out independent releases, but I had no way of charting the growth. I had no clue. And so I went on tour. I was like, oh my God, whatever. And I come back, and then we said, let's go make the movie that goes with it, you know? And we went out and made a movie called Monsters of California.
But that's not out yet, right?
No, it's not out yet.
But it's done. Is it wrapped?
It's in post. So we're doing all like, we're about to start all the visual effects. Yeah. So we scored it. And
You scored it as Angels and Airwaves,
Yeah.
right? And you directed this full length feature.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's
yeah.
a lot to take on.
It
Tom.
is a lot. But it's what I always said Angels was going to do. Just a little late. Work with me. Shit's hard. Like 15 years ago, I'm like, we're an art project. We're going to do these things where it's like publishing and film and music. And everyone's like, you're high. And I was like, maybe, but I'm trying it. And then I realized this shit's really hard to do. And but this is like the first time it's like really gelling. And so then like doing the record, going on tour, oh my God, I'm inspired. Go to the movie. Holy shit, I'm really inspired.
Yeah.
And so it really like created this 3-year journey where I was able to probably create the best record of my life. If not, I'm not saying for other people, because a lot of people grow up and they're like, oh, that Blink record was like when I was in high school and this and that.
Even Boxcar Racer, which is coming up in like 20 years old, people are like, that Boxcar Racer album really inspired me.
That one, I hear that shit. Like, I don't know what it was, but that just worked for the time period. It still works now, I guess. But
we're gonna get to that.
yeah. So, but here I am, like. It's like kind of all gelling, you know. I feel more comfortable in my own skin now than I ever have.
You, Tom. The way you start out the album, the song Time Bomb, then you go Euphoria, Spellbound. Some of these songs we got before his release. But when you press play, I go on Spotify and I listen to Time Bomb, start off the record, and then go into a few songs after that. I'm glad it seems like you took the time and really thought about, how do I want to present these songs as a collection to people?
Yeah, and like, it's funny. So this whole project that I'm doing is really about consciousness. And it's really, for me, what I thought would be really cool is to kind of revisit my roots, celebrate the bands I grew up on, celebrate the bands I was in. And even the movie is about these skateboarders obsessed with the paranormal. So it's very autobiographical, all the dick jokes and all that kind of stuff. So the record works because, like, you know, like Spellbound was like me going, fucking love Depeche Mode.
It sounds like Depeche. It totally does.
Don't
it
tell
sounds
them.
like a little Cure in the album as well a couple times.
Yeah, The Cure on Automatic. It was like, here's
I love the song Automatic.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Time Bomb was like my version of where Blink would go. You know, a little progressive pop punk, and Euphoria was like Boxcar Racer, post-hardcore stuff, and the Quicksands of the world, and Fugazi, and all that kind of stuff. So I really just made a record for myself. Like I want to like very intentionally celebrate the shit that you used to play on K-Rock back in the day all the time when we were growing up.
Yes.
So this record's just reflective of that for me.
And it's really, really good, and it's no BS. And I know other people really, really love it. I can see like people that review music, and I don't know who these people are, but
Kevin and Greg.
they're so impressed with the album. Does that affect you at all? Because I'm sure maybe someone in the past said, Tom DeLonge doesn't know what he's doing. He's totally crazy.
Never.
But now they're like, listen to the layers in these songs. Listen to the build. Listen to these lyrics. He's talking about real things in life, politics and guns, etc., and then his own stuff. How does that make you feel?
It's interesting. Like I've had to operate on the fringe for so long because people don't really understand me. Like, they didn't understand why I quit Blink in the first place. They don't understand why I'm out chasing aliens, like they used to say. Then they didn't understand why I was saying I was working with people from the U.S. government. But each time they kind of are slowly finding out that I'm very forward thinking, and I've had to accept that people don't understand me. So even with my art, like I make an album, I'm kind of like, I don't know if people are going to get it or not, but this is what speaks to me. But I think at this point, people have finally realized after the government came out and did all these things and said all these things, like they're going, maybe he's not nuts. Maybe we should listen to
some
this.
of these videos that were declassified and all the information.
Yeah.
You have been speaking of this for many, many years.
We brought them out. Our company brought those videos out. Our company set up all the briefings in Congress. We hired the head of the UFO program. I founded the company with one of the heads of the CIA and the head physicist of the UFO program. I mean, so I'm in this. We're in a contract with the government right now, with the U.S. Army, on a piece of wreckage from a craft of unknown origin.
Where was this craft found?
The chain of title only goes back a handful of years, but it's purported to be somewhere in New Mexico in the late 40s.
Okay.
And there's a few crashes that are of legend back then. I do not believe this has anything to do with Roswell, but there's no way to say that for sure. But there was a few crashes in that area, and this could have been from one. The legend was that the guy that was there at the cleanup grabbed this piece. But the thing is, it's metamaterials. It's highly engineered. It's got 86 layers of different elements. We think that it might do something really interesting with certain frequencies. So in any case, you're
working directly with the government on that to investigate
who built this, what this is, and what it does. Yeah.
I have a serious question. All these questions I ask you are serious, but has the government not released a lot of the information because they're afraid of potential panic, or is there another reason behind it?
I think there's a lot of reasons. I mean, usually when they keep things secret, it's because it could show the world, the people we don't want to hear, vulnerabilities in our defenses. Maybe it's something really embarrassing to the United States and decreases our standing in the world. Maybe it's something else that is of such high degree of danger that should we bring it out or whatever, it could really give people an edge over something that we don't want them to have an edge with. But on this subject, it also comes in line with, like, you can't decouple what the UAP phenomenon is with the hardware, with everything. You can't just come out and say, like, hey, we know these are real specifically because of X, Y, and Z. And then people say, well, what is X, Y, and Z? And they say, well, we can't talk about the Y part or the Z part. We can talk about the X part, but they're all tied together. But the other thing is you're dealing with technologies here that are so insanely advanced.
That's what I have learned over the last 6 months. I think they call it like the Tic Tac one that was ping pong in here, left, down, up, maybe even in the water and out of the water. Is that some technology you're referring to right there?
Yeah, it's transmedium travel. You have something creating basically.
What the hell is that?
Basically, the space universe is a fabric. Think of like you're holding a brick in your hand, like a sponge.
Okay.
And you can pull and bend on that sponge, but it's literally like a dense material, right? Well, the fabric of space-time is kind of like that. And these things, the evidence seems to suggest that they're displacing that fabric like a submarine does in the ocean, and they can materialize in and out of time. And it gets really complicated. But this is the other thing. We're not the only smart people in the world. Russia has some really smart people, China has some really smart people, and we're not all getting along. So if we were to let them know what we know, if we knew anything, then that could cause them to say, we got better shit than you got. So it's like you don't want to tell each other what you got, what you understand, what you've figured out. And so we're saying here, just tell us that it's real. They're saying, well, if we do, then you're going to ask how we know that. And then that leads into places we just can't discuss at this moment. And it has nothing to really do with the fact that we can't handle it, or maybe we can, or this or that. It has more to do with potentially where, whatever we're studying, in what we've learned, we're not only trying to keep it away from like adversaries here, maybe we're trying to keep it away from adversaries up there. It's like it's crazy. It has nothing to do with you and I.
Yes.
Is that of what's the most important piece of this. So I think we just have to give a lot of credit to our friends in the government that are normal dudes like you and I, but they're not sleeping at night, and they're very stressed out. And this isn't like, hey, they're just trying to keep it from us for money and oil money. And it's like so much bigger than that. It's literally a nuclear weapon across the world in 30 seconds. Ball of light. Boom. I mean, there's no defense against figuring this shit out. It's crazy.
One more thing, and then we'll move on. I want to get back to the music. What do you get out of this? Like, what inside your body when these things are happening and you're getting some validation for many of the things that you brought up? Like, how does this make you feel? Is this like a driving force? Like, look, I'm not crazy Tom. I was right. What I've been saying.
Contribution to changing the world. Like, I literally feel like I changed the world. Like, I really feel that. And I didn't do it alone, but I definitely started it. And it's not like I'm any more special or in any way than all the people that have come for decades and decades and decades. I've been studying this stuff that I've stood on their shoulders, but really what I was able to achieve was putting together a vehicle that can help bring about this discussion and break it out of the basement. And this is like, I remember when I was in high school, I wanted to be a firefighter, okay? Until they made me do push-ups. I was like, this is fucking stupid. Why the fuck do I have to do push-ups? I was still a skateboarder with like blue hair. And so I remember the learning, like when you fight a fire, you don't spray the water at the fire, you spray it at the fuel, okay? That's kind of the thing. But what that really taught me was like, the root of all the problems on Earth, the fuel of it could be potentially related to the subject. And this subject could be the missing component for us to understand how we ended up the way we ended up. Not only genetically, belief systems, different types of cultures and the way we look and the way we think and what we're predisposed to think and believe and act the way we act. And I think that like, this is the fuel. This is like, if we attack this subject, it opens up the door to understand who we are, where we're going, what we're capable of, because it deals with consciousness. Now, people kind of go like UFOs, like, what does that have to do with consciousness? Well, as my partner Jim from the agency always says, it's like UFOs have something to do with the border between consciousness and quantum mechanics. And what that really means is reality infinitely is happening at one moment, past, present, future. There is no linear time. It's all parallel.
Whoa,
and that's
okay.
physics.
All right.
Which means with the right machinery, you can navigate backwards and forwards in time, or you can meditate and do the same thing. And so what gets really interesting quick is once we learn what they are, what they're doing, and how they're different from us potentially, then we start to understand, whoa, we're pretty powerful. This is really like big boy stuff where
right.
we have the potential to understand how we create reality. Like consciousness controls matter, and no mind over matter. That's where that comes from, but that's like physics. So I believe by doing all this, bringing about a discussion of discovering what these are,
yes,
really opens the door to discussing, we discovered consciousness and how does that apply to us?
Amazing. Wow.
And once we do that, game on.
What you just said, I don't know if it made sense to you guys. What I get it. I understand. Seriously, I'm totally locked in.
Good.
LIFEFORMS, the album. How collaborative was this with your bandmates? And by the way, I'm very happy David is with you, and then Elon, and your bass player is Matt.
Matt.
Yep.
Super collaborative. Primarily the way it works. So, Elon and his brother Aaron are like my primary teammates, and then the other guys come in and out. But the way it usually works is like I spend a long time with Aaron, our co-producer, Elon's brother, and we're crafting kind of like, we're like drawing the house that we want to build, you know?
Yeah.
But then Elon comes in as like an architect and says, well, that doesn't work, you know, because he's this master musician, and he kind of redraws it and starts building the structure for it or whatever.
And
we
goddamn, you have had work with some great drummers in your life. Oh
I know. Well, after you work with Travis, it's like, it's really hard to not like be with like a guy, because it's funny, like the live show is, you got all these things happening really, but if the drummer's good, that takes up like 60% of the sound coming out of the speakers, you know? And so I really learned that quickly with Travis. Like, we can really suck as long as the drummer's good, you know?
So it's a very collaborative. You got Elon and his brother. You guys are working together, and are you guys in the same room most of the time, or are you doing Zoom or sending it back and forth?
Aaron and I are in the same room all the time. Alon is up here in Los Angeles because I live in San Diego, and he's got a studio, and we pass things back and forth, get on FaceTime, do things like that.
Okay. All right. You're going to be playing the Palladium here in LA, a couple shows. The tour starts in just a few days as we do this today. You're playing Kimmel after this, huh?
The tour fucking starts tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Do I look ready? Do I know? There's a ready?
I mean, your eyes really match your hat and shirt.
Yeah, it's just drab.
You look good. No, you look
drab
very good.
and like, well, I'm trying. This Red Bull's helping a little bit, though.
Good.
Beat the traffic into submission on my motorcycle today.
1995, 97, Cheshire Cat, Dude Ranch, Enema of the State, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, then the Blink record.
Which, by the way, I have friends just now getting that title, the Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
No.
Like, I'm sure you got it right away. Most people, though, they're like, what does that mean? Take off your pants and belt? Like, they don't get it. Yeah.
I remember, and I think you told me this, it was between Take Off Your Pants and Jacket and the Diarrhea of Anne Frank.
I was one of them. There's also Diarrhea de Janeiro and Vasectomy, Vasecto you.
My question is, and I didn't understand this back at that time. Of course, if you're a musician, you're doing well. It's fun as hell. But there is a lot of work that goes into it, from the touring, creating, getting along with a team of people. You guys were going every 2 freaking years, man.
Yeah.
Every 2 years, and it did not stop. And people, whether it's a radio station in the middle of nowhere tugging at you to come by, playing radio shows, your own tour, maintaining relationships. Looking back, do you wish you would spread it out as a team a little more, or was that the thing to do then?
It's hard to say. That's the thing to do then. And I remember being lost in the cycle of every album feels like it's your last, because you don't really...
Well, you don't trust, you don't believe that it's...
Well, it's art. You know, you're only as good as your newest idea. As you know, the entertainment industry changes on a dime, and it's like, 80s rock bands were great until Nirvana showed up, and with Blink, you all come from such modest places. So when you're at a place that's successful, it's pretty scary. You're like, we don't want to fuck this up. And so you don't want to ever take a break. You want to keep trying. You're so scared to lose it. And it does beat you down. I remember when I first quit the band, it was, we had our record out, and like my daughter was 2 years old, but I was gone for all 2 years of that, and they were starting right back up again. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I snapped. My family wasn't able to keep up with that, and I think a lot of people are like that. But also at that time, the only way to be a band was that way. Now it's like, oh my God, you got all this digital shit. You can make short films, pay-per-view events. I mean, there's so many things you could do now that's different. But back then, it's like people can't get your songs on Spotify or something, so you have to go play the radio show. And if you don't, someone else will. And so you're constantly battling, like taking a break for your sanity.
So it's hard for you as a person, a creator who comes from a certain background, to say no, because you believe if you said no, someone will stop asking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow,
and that's
man.
how, I think that's kind of how we all work in the entertainment industry, unfortunately.
Right.
But I've also learned that, if you create art and you do it really well, and you do it with the right intention, and you stick with it, it will come to you. It will find its place, and it will work. It might not be what you thought, or it might not be giant really quickly, but it will work. And I just think we're all so consumed, and I understand why. We're all consumed with being really big. We're all consumed with like being a huge success. But what's successful about being really exhausted and away from your family, and not getting along with your bandmates, and not having a real life? To somebody that has a smaller house, doing art that they really love, but they're with their kids in the park every day laughing. Go, which one's successful?
Right.
So I think it's really one of those things where we have to kind of keep doing these checks on our heart, like what's best for us as a human being.
I asked you this question just based on my own super little small bubble that I'm in. Like, time to me now is more important than anything.
Yeah.
Having like an hour just to like go like this and crack open like a 7-Up and make a Shirley Temple and watch some TV or
Shirley
a movie.
Temple. That's cute.
I love Shirley Temples.
Yeah, we all do, but we don't really say that on air. I don't understand. You just
I'll
threw that
feed
out
you
there.
a maraschino cherry later if you want.
Do you know what I had last night?
What?
A White Claw Surge.
You
Have you heard about these?
I know what a White Claw is, but what's a White Claw Surge?
It's like the man's version of a White Claw.
Okay.
It's got a little bit more alcohol. It's like 8%.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you feel good after it?
Well, yeah, and you open it up, it's like a fucking bear growling. Rawr, rawr.
I'm curious. So wait, when you're here in my house, did you ride a motorcycle here or go Uber a car?
Yeah, but
Wait, which one?
oh, motorcycle.
You ordered a motorcycle
But
here.
the fucking trip up this mountain range, it was like miles.
Were
of
you like, what the fuck am I doing?
Is that
going
the
to
only
Stryker's
way
house?
here?
No, there's a couple ways to get here.
Dude, the way it brought me was like, dude, am I in Afghanistan right now? Like, this is the gnarliest, like, turny little road.
Isn't it peaceful once you're here though?
It was. I actually, like, it was so twisty. I was pretty much in first gear, but I was listening to John Prine. I don't know if you like
yeah.
John.
Yeah.
Folk.
Yeah.
Yeah, rest his soul.
Yeah.
And I'm such an idiot. You know, it's funny, like, he's so incredible. And I saw Kevin Bacon and his wife doing Clay Pigeons, a cover he did of Blaze Foley, but on Instagram when he passed away from COVID or something. And I was like, why are these, you know, and I looked it up and I heard some of these songs and now I'm like, huge Prine fan. So on the way up to your house, listening to John Prine, first gear, just kind of cruising, and I showed up wonderfully handsome.
You did, and right on time, and now we got some energy
To the minute, brother.
Yeah, I know. So last night, do you guys watch in your household? Are you watching any TV shows? Are you just focused on? Are you looking at the tour dates, which start tomorrow? Like, what'd you do last night?
Last night was production rehearsals, so we had all of our big lights and our big stage and all that kind of shit set up, and had to go through all the songs, approve all the lighting cues, see if I want to stick my butt out more, twist my hips, wear tighter clothes. All those decisions come into play.
What did you watch any shows over the last year with your wife that you're like, I'm and you if like you don't watch it at the same time, it's almost like cheating. Do you have any other shows?
You know, no, we did watch a bunch of shows. I mean, obviously, you know, it's like the White Lotus is a bitchin' show.
Yes.
The one about the Tiger King is bitchin'. You know,
Yeah.
There's a lot of things like that. I tend to watch movies only. Because I just love film that way. I love these kind of contained stories.
Is there a certain kind of movie that you watch, or if you hear something's good or something pops up, you're like, I'm gonna check this out?
I get pretty bored with normal dramas and stuff because, you know, they call them these walk and talks, you know, where you're just filming a person talking and walking. I'm like, where's like the robots and where's the big alien spaceships? But a lot of those big robot alien spaceship movies kind of suck too. So I'm always on the hunt for something that's visually arresting, that has a pace, that really kind of go, whoa, this is interesting, and has a clever story. And so, you know, I'm a big fan of like Chris Nolan for that reason.
Is he that guy's obviously
He's
unbelievable.
so good,
Is he at the top of your list? Like you like Quentin Tarantino films?
You want to hear a funny story about Nolan?
Yes.
Okay, so I was at Warner Brothers lot, and I was doing something with one of my films, pitching something probably. And I'm walking down this hallway, and I see his production company, Syncopy, like their like production logo. I was like, oh, fuck, it's like Nolan's company. I'm like, all right. So I walk in there, and there's like this one intern chick sitting there. And this is funny. I walk up them all. This is going to sound weird, but my name's Tom DeLonge. You may or may not know me or more my band, Blink. Okay, throwing names out there. Any case, I'm working with some people in the government, and I got some crazy shit going on. And I know it's going to probably freak you out. I'm not trying to, but I respect the time here. And she's just looking at me, and I don't really know how to say this.
But she says, sir, if you're trying to get the part, then do your monologue over there.
Yeah, totally. They're all like, we're not casting right now, idiot. I was like, oh, no. So then I say this stuff. I'm like, look, here's my email. Just want you to pass it on to the boys and say, like, I got some people that would love to sit with them and tell them some shit. Okay. So I left. That was it. So I'm leaving. Like 2 hours later, I get a call from my film agent. He goes, what the fuck did you do? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, you went into Nolan's office and they had to grab you and escort you off the lot? That was the rumor.
No.
I swear to God. And I was like, no, I left it on my own fucking will. You know, I didn't get in trouble. But that was this whole thing. And then about like 6 months later, I go down and I'm having a meeting with like a writer-director guy. And as I'm sitting with him, Nolan walks right by the window. And I go, holy shit, I'll be right back. And because in my motorcycle, same one, I had all these pamphlets that we made. We did a really big briefing at CIA. Like, I wasn't even able to go. I mean, I run the company, but I don't have the security clearances for that. Okay. So my guys went, just whatever. So the pamphlet kind of really talked about our company and all the things we're doing, and they were made specifically for the briefing at the agency. And but I had some of those pamphlets with me, so I ran out and I said, "Hey, I stopped by your office one day. It's crazy. Take this."
You
whatever.
went right up to him now. You're face to face.
Yeah, I'll fucking kiss him. I don't care. Like, he's rad, you know?
Yes.
But I didn't kiss him, but I gave him the pamphlet. I didn't hear anything back. He must be just tripping. He's like, what the fuck is this guy? Who is this guy? So he looks up Blink and it's like, we're naked, our dicks are out. Who knows what he thinks? He's like, this guy.
What's My Age Again video?
What's wrong?
Rock show, yeah.
Go look my band up. Wait. Do not look my band up. Yeah.
Man, that is awesome. Tom, do your goals for, and you've done 6 full lengths with Angels and Airwaves as the front man. You also did 6 full lengths with Blink. That's right?
Damn, I don't know. Who's counting?
But that's like, you've done almost as much work in Angels and Airwaves as you did with Blink.
I am exactly like John Lennon and Paul McCartney. There is no difference at all to the breadth of work that I've achieved. No, I don't know. I mean, I just, I do when I can, and I can't seem to fucking stop doing it. That's all I know. I cannot believe I'm still making music because so many artists that have done this are not. So I kind of go, what did I do that they didn't? Like, do I just not give a fuck, or am I more tuned into something or am I doing it? It's like more relevant than their stuff. You know, I go through these in my head. Why am I still here? And so many incredible musicians aren't. Did they just give up, or like, you know, I don't know.
Do you think it's, of course, talent?
Nope.
And I've met.
It's not that. You know,
I know there are probably there's a ton of people who are so much better than me at this job. I know it. They're funnier. They're quicker. They're probably more.
What if you and I go into a downward spiral? They're better than me too, and like we just kind of interview's over.
But it's like the way I tick is, I'm so sad and mad at myself if I don't do a good job, and if I don't prepare and it goes bad, I can't sleep for 5 days.
I'm the same way where, like, you know, I just have this burn. I don't want to fuck this. I can do something good. And if you decide to do it, at least me, if I decide to do it, then I'm all in. You know, if I decide to make music, I'm like, I'll try my hardest. You know, I don't just like kind of do it or for a paycheck or do whatever, you know, and I feel that you're probably the same way. Like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to really do it well, you know, as best I can.
Right.
And maybe some of the people that don't end up doing it for a long time did it for the wrong reasons, so they didn't get out of it what they wanted. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to judge them. It's not my place, but I wouldn't even know. But I am constantly trying to figure out like why I'm still here doing this. I don't know. And yourself as well. I just think, you know, you do it from the right place, you're going to find the people that resonate with it.
Yeah, definitely. Before you get out of here, a few more questions. I love the one and only Boxcar Racer album. And I know you're here for Lifeforms, and I love Angels and Airwaves. Are there songs you made that were never released? Is it possible that the three of you may do another box?
Travis and I recorded a new Boxcar song, and it's floating out there. We did it a couple years ago. Maybe this is, I think, the 20th anniversary or some shit. Is like
coming up. It is, yeah.
Yeah, we should put that out. Travis wanted to do it last year.
When you say floating around, you mean just on your computers?
Someone's computer.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we did it. It's there. It's not floating around. It's on our our phones. I don't know. It's in the fucking cloud. You know, Tim Cook has it somewhere. You know? But yes, we are going to put this out, and it's probably perfect timing now that we're at that anniversary. We didn't right now because I had this big release coming up, and I couldn't focus on finishing it. But I think that's something we need to do immediately.
Do you play or work in the way you go about your business? Is there ever like a chip on your shoulder to prove to those who may have doubted you when you left Blink that Tom can't go do anything? He's got all these crazy ideas. They're so huge. How is he going to make these things come to fruition? Do you constantly try to prove yourself to people who may have said that to you?
Yeah. What if that wasn't the answer you're like, well, no, not at all.
No, maybe no. You're like, no, I just do it because I have fun.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not like as strong of a yeah as I said. The truth is that every artist is trying to prove themselves at all times. If they say they're not, it's kind of bullshit, because you're putting it out there for people to interact with. Now, not every artist is salivating over reviews and what people think. I'm like, you know, some people, you put it out or 100% of their time is what are people saying? I'm probably at like 15% of my time. I'm like, what are people saying? I don't know, fuck them. You know, like I think for me, it's, you know, I'm trying to prove to myself that I'm worthy to be where I'm at. Like I'm trying to prove that if I'm going to make an album, it's got to be better than the last, or else I don't deserve to be here and have anyone like yourself wanting to talk to me about it. So easily this 80-90% of it is me trying to prove that I deserve to have any of the success that I've had in my life, because I listen to my older shit and I go, God, I could have been so much better. I was lazy, or I thought my shit didn't stink, or I thought no one had anything to offer, you know, or Blink was like, we were so wonderfully in our own bubble. Like if we fuck up on stage, it makes the show better. And I play the same songs every night because that's the easiest thing to do. And let's not work on harmonies for a few hours every day because who the fuck cares, you know? So I look back and I go, wow, I think I was lazy, you know? And now I try to spend time on those things. Not all the time, but I try to spend time on those things and I try to be better. And
good for you.
That's just me
it's
trying.
Inspiring.
Well, you know, but I also have ADHD, so I'm like all over the place. I mean, I'll be working on harmonies. I'll be all, oh shit, there's like a new UFO video somewhere. I want to go watch that. And then I'll forget. And then someone's like, you got to go work on your singing. And I'll be like, hold on, there's a Bigfoot book that just came out. You know, let's read about some fucking Bigfoot shit, you know? I just like weird things because I don't like normal. I don't want to hear about Geico and their insurance stuff. I don't want to hear about the pandemic. I don't want to hear about people's like shitty day in traffic or like too many errands to run with their kids. I want to read about like a monster in the forest that's really might be there. You know, I was like, that's wild. Like, why would you not want to hear about that? I don't want to hear about that other shit. So I'm always torn between like make my art and like go into a rabbit hole all stoned into like a Bigfoot book until like 2 a.m, you know?
Do you love the voice inside my head, or are you sick? You do like the voice inside my, how do you feel about that?
It's in my new song. I have a song we just put out called Losing My Mind off of Angels Airwaves. In the last chorus, it said this voice in my head. I actually put it in there. It's YEAD. I love it. It's funny. Like, I get it. Like, I love it. And everyone goes, you know, we have a Blink song called All the Small Things. I'm like, I sound like I'm fucking 4 years old. All the small things. I was like, and people still celebrate. I get like literally 4 times a month. There's a cover band somewhere playing that, and someone I know filmed it and sent it to me. And I go, really? Like, you know, it's like Hanson. You know, it's like these kids playing the little pop. It's funny. Like, we had a lot of really cool songs in Blink, and it's weird to me that that's the one. Like Metallica has like Master of Puppets. And we got that All Small Things. Just like you know, we had better ones than that, but whatever.
It's the Blink songs that you made. Every time all of us hear a Blink song from any of the albums that you guys made together, it takes us back to a place in our life that we can instantly recollect.
That's cool, and I get that.
It doesn't mean that I'm saying I'm not saying go back. That's not. I'm just saying like you should. I hope you're proud.
Oh
of what you guys did.
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay, good.
And the thing I think what I'm proud of more than even the music is the fact that we represented Southern California. You know, like
for sure.
Because I mean, we would go to like fucking like Ireland, and it looked like Braveheart or some shit. Like it's foggy with these like Gothic churches and shit in the fog, but then there's like 1,000 kids lined up wearing like Hurley and Billabong shirts and like all the surf skate culture shit, sideways yellow hats. Yeah. And I was like, this shit is not indigenous to this area for sure. You know, they're freezing and it's like wet, you know, but we were able to transport, you know, something that was very here, you know, all the punk bands that you guys played on K-Rock and all the punk bands I grew up on, and the skate culture, and we brought sunshine, you know, with a little bit of dick joke sprinkled on it, and it worked really well.
I always laughed, and sometimes like, oh my God, I would see, you know, I'd be at the time like 32 years old. I'm at the Blink show. I had a few cocktails in me.
Maybe one.
Yeah, no, maybe like 7 at the time. I still have a drink every now and then. And then there'd be like a 14-year-old girl with her mom, and the mom's like, "Oh yeah, we'll take you to Blink-182."
Yeah.
You're like, "Hey, who's F their mom out there in the crowd? Let's make
Dude, so we had a curtain,
Yes.
and we would play the Stanley Kubrick 2001 Space Odyssey music, dun, bum, 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 and then the curtain drops, and we had the big word "fuck" on fire, right? And right at that moment, we haven't started a song yet. I would look out in a sea of 20-some thousand people, and I would just see these moving things, and I go, holy shit, those are parents dragging their kids out of the audience, and we haven't even started a song, and I'm going, fan for life, because as soon as the kids are like being dragged, but their eyes are this big, greatest thing ever, we were a punk rock band for 7 or 8 years before we ever started playing big places, and I'm going, we say a lot of weird shit, but this is tame. Going toward Guttermouth or the Vandals or something, and this is nothing. What do you think? This is bad. Ooh, the F word, But it's funny how controversial that scene was to the mainstream America. Because when Blink broke on radio, it's those especially not K-Rock, but other big radio shows, they weren't expecting the amount of bad words we brought to the table, But to us, we're well, that's just what we do. You don't want us here? We didn't understand, but we had fun with it, though.
I was talking to Tom Morello 2 days ago. He said they got signed, Rage did, after 2 shows.
Really?
2 shows.
Well,
and did you have to go in a office and play songs?
Should have been one show, honestly.
Right, should have been one show. But just quickly, how did you guys get signed? How did it, what were you doing, and how did it finally become official?
There was a record label called Cargo Records that was all these really core grungy punk bands that were super, super cool. They all worship Fugazi. It was Drive Like Jehu and Rocket from the Crypt and all these kind of things. But the son of the label owner liked Blink. We were this little local band that were on to something, and he came in and told his dad, "I want to sign this band." And his dad made a bet with him that we would never sell more than 3,000 albums.
3,000, okay.
3,000. Okay. And we did. And then went really big. We became by far the biggest thing on that label. And then Universal bought them they were just buying up labels at the time. And so when they did that, they would go to a few of the bands on the roster and offer them a major deal. And they offered us one. And we went with it. And then I remember we recorded our first major label album. It was a record called Dude Ranch, and we had the song "Damn It" on there. And our A&R guy pulled everyone from the entire music group at Universal to come to this lobby and play the album for 70 people that worked there. They hit play, and by the 3rd song, everyone left. Literally everyone left, and it was just us 3 with our A&R guy, and we were laughing so hard. We're we fucking knew we were fish out of water, because we were Epitaph Records, Fat Records, all these punk rock places.
Brett Gurewitz and Fat Mike.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So that made sense to us. So we knew if we go to the dark side, we're kind of on our own, and so it didn't surprise us at all. We thought it was pretty fucking funny, we were very aware that we didn't fit in with all the weird shit they were putting out.
I'm so glad it happened. I'm so glad someone had your back, and the music speaks for itself. Have you talked to Mark at all recently?
All the time, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Lately I've been so busy because the tour's starting, but I usually talk to him a couple times a day.
You
if not,
do?
Yeah. He's doing good.
Dude.
So his first round of chemo ate away every piece of cancer, not just a little bit, literally fucking gone, and it was beyond miraculous. Then he had to do another round just for safety kind of thing. And then he goes in the next couple of days for another scan to make sure it's all still cool.
Oh, man.
So he's not I tell people, it's not no one would be leaping for joy. I'm, this or that, but he's doing well. Everyone's in good spirits. Everyone's expecting him to be clear and healing and healthy. We'll know more in a few days, but,
do you see yourself having a cup of coffee with him at some point?
Oh yeah, I've seen myself inside him, kissing him. No, I mean, him and I are doing really well. It's been wonderful to connect with him. Tragic over something like this, but these are the things that bring souls together. These are the things that really matter. They show you what doesn't matter. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity to help repair that friendship with him. But I'm really obviously, like, no one's thankful that he had to go through this. Obviously, it's like it's been tough on him, as it is on everyone that does this stuff.
It's nice to hear that this horrible thing brought you guys together and you're texting.
There is like a light at the end of the tunnel, you know,
Good.
Throughout this tragic kind of journey for him.
Wow. And on that note, let's wrap it.
Yeah.
Tom, I can't thank you enough for being on the show, man, and coming here. And thanks for all the music and everything you've created. And you just like, you get in front of everything, and you're a great leader and a really, really cool dude, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man. I just tell people, take some risks in life and put yourself out there and just stop giving a fuck what people think and follow your heart.
Hard to do, though.
So hard to do.
That's so hard to do.
It is.
Do you have any tips on how we can say, like, the comments we get online, we can just say, fuck it, I don't care.
I remember, like, I got a bad review the other day, and I was talking to one of my kids about it, and I was like, you know, I work on this thing for 3 years, and it's like kind of the best, or if not one of the best records I've ever made. And it was crazy. And then this one guy goes, yeah, it sucks, you know, or something. And I go, okay, so I can take that and go, oh my God, oh fuck, you know, freak the fuck out. Or I can really dig into that and kind of go, okay, who is this dude? Okay, it's some dude named fucking Kevin. Why do I give a who the fuck is he? Like, what? Like, he said something and he's printed in some paper, like, but Kevin doesn't like your music. You know, it's like, who the fuck is what? He's live in fucking Pocatello, Idaho, and he's writing from an apartment, and somehow what he likes the color blue and you did green. So green sucks. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's really how you have to look at things. You got to do things. And when nobody is an authority on art. Nobody.
Right.
Like, you know, that's why people paint pictures that are all over. That's what Rothko painted boxes of color. Here's a blue box and here's a red box. And everyone's like, oh, $8 million for that painting of fucking a red square. It's all subjective. So, I think people just need to realize that when you get stuck in worrying about what people think, you've then left your own journey. You've completely left it. You've gotten out of your car and you've sat in somebody else's car and go, what do you think of the way I'm driving? You know, it's like, who the fuck cares? You got to get back in your car, go over the center divider, take out a couple trees, but get to your fucking destination.
It's great advice, man.
Thank you.
All right. LifeForms is the album, Angels and Airwaves. Find them on the road. He is Tom DeLonge, and I'm Stryker. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, boss.
Thank you. See you guys later. Hope you enjoyed. Now hit that subscribe button. And for more Tuna on Toast, listen wherever you get your podcasts.